Okay, today we are going to discuss about free damped vibration. What is in the free damped vibration means I can show a figure you. Means in this case you can see that this is a single degree of freedom because there is only one parameter, that is the spring stiffness K. And free damped means there is no force acting at the end of the mass. Means the deflection produced in the spring due to the mass of the body only. There is no force. That is why it is called free. And damped means in addition to spring there is a damper. Means there is a damper is placed here. This damper decreases the amplitude of vibration. That is the only function of damper. It reduces the amplitude of vibration. Okay, so first we are going to free damped vibration, and first we are considering the various forces acting. So first is the damping force. Damping force is given by Cx dot, that is C into dx by dt. Then accelerating force, that is m into d square x by dt square, or m into x double dot. And spring force is kx. And you can see here the total forces, means the total forces, the net resultant force, the total force or the net resultant force will be equal to 0 when it is attaining equilibrium condition. That is, you can see here mx double dot, that is acting the downward direction, right? It is not correct in the figure. It is shown upward. It is not upward. It is downward direction. Mx double dot. And Cx dot and Kx, it is upward direction. Mx double dot downward direction, and Cx dot and Kx is upward direction. So usually we are assigning downward direction force as positive and upward as negative. So mx double dot is equal to minus Cx dot minus Kx. So taking to the left, mx double dot plus Cx dot plus Kx equal to 0. So this is the equation we are getting finally. So next what we are doing is we are finding a solution to this equation. And how to find a solution? You can see here it is of the form d square x by dt square plus dx by dt plus x equal to 0. This equation is in that form. So for that equation we already know the standard solution for differential equation. For finding that standard solution, what we are doing is first we are substituting x equal to e raised to ut. So when we are substituting x equal to u raised to ut, means you have already studied x equal to e raised to mx or e raised to nx, something like that in your maths. So x dot is equal to u into e raised to ut. X double dot is equal to u square into u raised to ut. So we are substituting in this one, in this equation. So in this equation we are substituting. So we are getting m into u square into e raised to ut plus c u into e raised to ut plus k into u raised to ut equal to 0. Next what we are doing? We are dividing the whole term by m, and e raised to ut is common here, so that we can take outside. So we are getting u square plus c by m du plus k by m equal to 0. Next we are finding the roots of this equation. So we are getting u equal to minus c by 2m plus or minus root of c by 2m whole square minus k by m. Here instead of c by 2m we are substituting a value a, and k by m we already know omega m square, that is omega n equal to root of k by m, or k by m equal to omega m square. So these are the terms you are getting. So finally what we are doing is we are getting the equation, this equation of the form x equal to a1 into e raised to u1 t, means the value we are substituting x equal to u raised to t. So here you have two different values. So one value means that is minus c by 2m plus root of c by 2m whole square minus k by m, that is corresponding to one root, and minus c by 2m minus root of c by 2m whole square minus k by m corresponding to the second root. So the standard form of the differential equation is when you know x equal to a1 e raised to ut plus a2 u raised to ut. That is when the differential equation has two different roots. That is, we already know the standard form x equal to c1 e raised to m1x plus c2 e raised to m2x. The same form is written here, where a1 a2 are constant, e1 e2 are the roots. Next we are finding another term, critical damping constant. Okay, critical damping constant. And already I am telling you the different terms here. C means, what is C means? Damping coefficient. M means mass. K means spring stiffness. So then we are substituting critical damping coefficient. This is denoted as C suffix C. Means it is defined as in the terms inside the square root of this equation. Inside this square root, that is C by 2m whole square minus K by m. For critical damping coefficient, this term become equal to 0. So T by 2m whole square minus K by m equal to 0. So C, instead of C, we can substitute CC. That is CC equal to 2m into root of K by m. Root of K by m is omega n. So 2m into omega n. So this is critical damping coefficient. Next, damping ratio. This CC is critical damping coefficient. Okay, next we are going to damping ratio. Then damping factor or damping which is denoted by theta. You can see here, it is the ratio of damping coefficient to the critical damping coefficient, that is C by Cc. Damping or ratio damping factor is C by Cc. And you can see here, theta equal to C by Cc. And instead of C, what we can substitute? Instead of Cc, what we can substitute? 2m omega n. That is C by 2m omega. That is C by 2m omega, or C by omega. We have omega n here, not omega n here. C by 2m omega n, and omega n, that is theta equal to C by 2m omega n. And if we are taking C by 2m only, but we will get, means we are getting omega n to the left. So C by 2m equal to theta omega n, right? Means omega n we are taking left. And the standard equation is this one: x equal to a1 e raised to ut plus a2 raised to ut. A1 e raised to, instead of u1 we can substitute from this here plus sign, instead of u2 we can substitute the minus sign. Here k by m means omega n square. Okay, so that's why we are getting a1 into e raised to, here you can see C by 2m. The C by 2m is theta omega n, right? Theta omega n. And k by m is omega n square. That is what we are substituting here. So this is, we are getting the final equation. So you can, from this you can see that the system depends on damping ratio and on angular frequency, and T means time period of oscillation. So the amplitude of vibration depends on three factors. First one theta, damping ratio, omega n, natural angular frequency, then T, time period of oscillation. Next we are going to different cases. Means first one we are going to over damped system. Over damped system means here theta value is greater than 1. Okay, so the two equations we are substituting, we are getting two values here. So the same thing only, we are substituting two values here, theta greater than 1. So the two equations we are getting here is the case of over damped system. And you can see here it is plotted graph, means x is omega t. In case of over damped system, when with respect to omega t, the value of x diminishes exponentially. Means it decreases exponentially. Means you can see a term e raised to in the equation. So the variation of amplitude with respect to omega is exponential variation. Next we are going to critical damped. Critical damped means theta equal to 1. And critical damped we already know theta equal to 1. So C by 2m already we discussed earlier, C by 2m all square equal to K by m. And in the equation, if we are substituting in this equation, means in this equation if we are substituting C by 2m equal to K by m, these two terms become 0. So finally we are getting, for critical damped system, we are getting the equation as x equal to a1 plus a2 into e raised to minus theta omega n t. Instead of theta, we can substitute C by 2m omega n. Okay. Next one, underdamped. Underdamped means theta less than 1. So that is C by 2 whole square less than K by m. So when damping ratio theta less than 1, the system is called underdamped system. Means vibration is arrested by small damping, and small force is given against vibration. Okay, and here you can see that in almost all automobiles, means underdamped means the magnitude of vibration is low, means in all automobiles we are using underdamped system, and C by 2m less than K by M, means the amplitude vibration is very low. And you can see here, if when C by 2m less than and C by 2m, in this equation C by 2m less than K by M means the value inside the root becomes negative. So it is given two imaginary values. You have studied differential equation, imaginary roots. That is, you are getting here minus a plus I omega d minus a minus I omega d. That is x plus I y. That form. Here omega d is called damped angular frequency. A is C by 2m and omega d is damped angular frequency, which is equal to root of omega n square minus a square. Okay, omega d is damped natural frequency. And the general solution we are getting like this. That is e raised to at c1 plus c2 cos omega dt plus I into c1 minus c2 sin omega dt. That is c1 cos omega s plus I c2 sin omega s. In that form, we are substituting c1 plus c2 as a, c1 minus c2 as b. You can see the variation here. It is not sudden decreasing. It is here. The variation is exponential, but it decreases gradually. That is the characteristics of underdamped system. That vibration decreases gradually. It is not sudden decreasing. So the final equation we are getting is x equal to a into e raised to minus at cos omega dt. Okay, and you can see here a into e raised to minus at is the amplitude of vibration which diminishes exponentially with the time. And next we are getting some basic equation, that is time period of vibration. This is the case of underdamped system, that is 2 by omega t, 2 by root of omega n square minus a square. Frequency of damped vibration fd is equal to 1 by tp. That is frequency means 1 by time period. That's all. Just take the reverse. And next we are going for a term logarithmic decrement, and it is defined as the natural logarithm of amplitude reduction factor. And if x1 and x2 are the successive value of amplitude on the same side of mean position, means what is the meaning means you can see the equation below, delta equal to ln x1 by x2. Here x1 x2 means the amplitude of vibration in the successive position. Means if you are seeing the underdamped system, you can see x1 x2 x3, and delta means natural logarithm this x1 to x2 or x2 to x3 or x3 to x4. Means this is mean by natural logarithm of x1 to x2, x2 to x3 or x3 to x4, like that. So that is called logarithmic decrement. Okay, so when we are going for delta ln x1 by x2, okay, and if you are, so you can see here x1 means a into e raised to at. This is the final equation, and here the maximum value is a into e raised to at when cos omega dt equal to 1. That is a into e raised to at. x2 means a into e raised to minus a t plus tp. By tp means the x2 occurs after a time period tp, and if it x3, that will be and if it x3, that will be t plus 2 tp from x1. Okay, so here you can see two values, and finally we are getting e raised to atp. Okay, so if you are taking the ln, the e terms disappear, so it is getting a into tp, and tp is a into tp is 2 pi by omega d, that is a into 2 pi omega d, and a into 2 pi by omega d means root of omega n square minus a square here, and instead of a we can substitute c by 2a. So we are finally getting delta equal to 2 pi c by root of cc square minus c square. Cc means critical damping coefficient, c means damping coefficient. And you can see one more equation here. We are getting final equation is delta equal to 2 pi c by root of c square by c square. And next what we are taking is, we are taking c to the denominator. So it is become 2 by root of cc by c whole square minus 1. And cc by c means, we are already studied cc by c means 1 by theta. That is c by cc is theta. So cc by c is 1 by theta. So root of 1 by theta whole square minus 1 square. And next one more term we are studying amplitude reduction factor. That is x1 by x2. I already told you, if you are taking the ln of amplitude reduction factor, that becomes logarithmic decrement. Simply the x1 by x2, x2 by x3, x3 by x bar, or xn by xn plus 1 is called amplitude reduction factor, which is equal to e raised to atp. Okay. So the main formula we are dealing here is, one is, we are going to a conclusion, omega n is equal to root of k by m, omega d equal to root of omega n square minus a square, that is damped vibration, and frequency of damped vibration is omega f d equal to omega d by 2 pi. Then logarithm decrement delta equal to ln x1 by x2, which is getting a into tp, and damping factor theta equal to c by cc. In terms of c and cc, delta equal to 2 pi by root c by root of cc square minus c square. Cc is equal to 2m omega n, and fn equal to omega n by 2 pi. Amplitude reduction factor x1 by x2 equal to x2 by x3 equal to etc equal to e raised to atp. Finally, damping coefficient c equal to 2ma. These are the main equations we are dealing in here. You have to remember all these equations for exam. Means any equation can be asked in exam. So next we are going to a problem. A vibrating system consists of mass 20 kg, a spring stiffness 20 km per meter, and a damper. Damping provided is only 30% of critical value. Determine damping factor, critical damping coefficient, natural frequency of damped vibration, logarithm decrement, and ratio of two consecutive amplitude. So mass is given 20 k, 20 km per meter, c 30% of cc critical value. So damping factor c by cc equal to 0.3. So cc is 2m omega n, omega n is equal to root of k by m. So we are getting 164.8 Newton meter per second. The omega d is root of omega n square minus a square raised to 0.5. From that we are getting fd. We are actually is natural frequency of damped vibration, not omega angular frequency, natural frequency. So here we are getting omega d, and then fd is equal to 1 by 2 pi. We have to, for getting natural frequency, that is fd, we have to divide omega d by 2 pi. So we are getting finally fd is equal to 4.8. Then logarithm decrement delta is equal to 2 pi by root of cc by c square minus 1, 1.976. Then amplitude reduction factor x1 by x2 is equal to e raised to delta, is 7.215. Okay, thank you. So, and one more thing I am telling, then sometimes in question it will tell that there is a spring, means instead of one spring, two or more spring connected in series or parallel, and one that is the case you should already know. When spring connected in series, the stiffness will become k1 plus k2 plus k3 etc like that. When it is connected in when it is connected in, so in this case, when spring connected in parallel, k is equal to k1 plus k2 plus etc. And when connected in series, 1 by k is equal to 1 by k1 plus 1 by k2 plus etc. And sometimes they ask also like that. Means in a system, two or more spring connected in parallel. So k is final stiffness k is equal to k1 plus k2 plus etc. And spring connected in series, 1 by k is equal to 1 by k1 plus 1 by k2 plus etc. So you have to use that equation also in some cases. Okay, thank you.